Hellraiser Hellseeker, which was released in 2002, and this was directed by Rick Bota, who directed a few of the direct-to-video Hellraiser sequels. And this one also brings Kirsty back from the original two films and very, very, very quickly from the third one. But the main final girl of the original Hellraiser film by Clive Barker. She doesn't spend it in like a whole big amount of time in the film, but it's cool to see her back, and they kind of utilize her in the story pretty much entirely. Like the whole story kind of happens because of her, in a sense. She shows up at the beginning of the film and the end of the film, and she's kind of used as a like catalyst in the movie, you could say. And it starts off with a car crash, and she's in this vehicle with her boyfriend, presumably. It goes off a bridge, falls in the water, and she's locked inside the car, and her boyfriend or husband, whatever, is trying to get her out of the car but is unable to. He goes up for air. When he comes back down to try again, she's basically dead inside. There's no way he can open the doors. And immediately after this, he wakes up in a hospital. And after he wakes up in the hospital, things start to get pretty strange, and everything starts to go hallucinatory, and reality doesn't seem to make any more sense, kind of thing, as the film goes on. It's played out very out of order, and he's basically trying to figure out what is going on because he's being questioned by police chiefs and detectives, and interrogated constantly on what happened at this crime scene because, as it turns out, Kirsty is missing and her body was never found, and he doesn't seem to know why because his last memories are of her being locked in the vehicle. So they're questioning, like, where is she? There was no body. What happened? He's not giving full stories. He's suffering from amnesia as well, and things just get really, really, really weird until the end of the movie, until we figure out, the answers come, and then we figure out why everything is happening the way it was. There's a lot of seduction in this film. The main guy, he also plays a detective. He's not as aggravating and shitty as I mean, he is a shitty person, but he's not blatantly shitty like the other guy Joseph was in Hellraiser 5. This guy is just extremely unfaithful to Kirsty, and I mean, it's all hallucinatory, so like nothing is actually going on, or you don't know like what's reality, what's not. But like he has his boss seduce him at one point, and he's like, "Come on, my wife just died," and she's all over like trying to like dominate him, kind of thing, in the office, or not the office, but the break room or whatever they were at. Um, he's like, "Oh, my wife just died," and there's something about the way this guy acts. He's very nonchalant. Again, I don't know if he's directed this way. I don't know if he's written this way, if he's supposed to be this way, or if, he's just not the greatest actor in the world. I don't know. But he's just so nonchalant and aloof about everything. The best way I could describe this guy, and the best definition, is aloof. He's so casual and shrug off for everything, even his wife's death, because he immediately like goes to work. He doesn't seem to care about the accident, the death, nothing. He doesn't even seem that injured because he leaves the hospital pretty quick too with some painkillers, and they're like, "Yeah, you're good," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty good." It's just like after all that happened, it's kind of confusing. Then he has a neighbor who just does everything in her power to fuck this guy. And she's knocking on his door. She shows her his new tattoo. At one point, she just walks right in, and you're asking like, is this reality, kind of thing? And then after that scene where the neighbor seduces him, he later on goes to knock on her door and question her, and like, "Oh, we can't talk about the other night." And she doesn't recall anything that happened, and her live-in boyfriend comes to the door and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And so you get the sense that like none of that happened actually. So throughout the film, it's all a mindfuck and a murder mystery essentially on who killed Kirsty, sorry. Did he kill her? What was going on? And it's said that, or we figure out that he did have a plan with his shady partner or buddy at work or whatever to actually murder Kirsty, because Kirsty has an inheritance from her family from the original films, and she basically is sitting on a shit ton of money. And it's revealed that he had a plan to kill Kirsty. But I like how the film goes in this direction where Kirsty actually flips it on him, because it's not explained how she figured it out, but she did figure out that he was being unfaithful like crazy. And then she somehow ended up figuring out that he was going to murder her as well. So at one point in the film, I have no idea, unless I missed it or they didn't explain it at all, why he got Kirsty the puzzle box and why he gave Kirsty the puzzle box and why he basically forced her to open the puzzle box. Knowing her history with it, and knowing the evils of the box, because he would know it, and if he got the puzzle box in his possession, and then he basically he's really into filming. He films everything. He films his life with his wife. He films his encounters with his boss sexually, and the neighbor. He basically video records everything, and he video records Kirsty opening this box, and he basically essentially forces her to. And I don't know why he does, but he does. And then because she does, she's re-encounters with Pinhead again, and Pinhead basically tells her that he's after her and he's going to be after her for life. She basically has no escape. And then she ends up offering Pinhead a deal where she offers Pinhead 5 souls in trade for her. So instead of her soul, she'll give Pinhead 5. And it's her lucky day because she has the perfect people to choose who to sacrifice, kind of thing. You got the ladies who were unfaithful or were sleeping with her husband and making her husband unfaithful, or her boyfriend, whatever he was. The shady main character, Trevor is his name. And then Trevor's friend, who Trevor made a deal with, and then the 5th soul would be Trevor himself. So this is where Trevor was the 5th soul, and the whole movie, again, just like the 5th movie, is playing out as a whole purgatory kind of sequence, and you're watching the film trying to piece everything together, and at the climax of the film you realize that the whole film you've been watching has been the main character in purgatory, kind of living in his dream state, kind of thing. So it plays out in plot wise the same way the 5th film does. Now, how Kirsty is going to get away with that murder at the end, because I mean, through the whole film they're investigating Buddy about his Kirsty, and where is she and her missing body and kind of thing. So Kirsty must have had some planning to be able to shoot her boyfriend in the head in the car while he's driving, and then to like get out of the vehicle and then have a story made, because her prints are on the gun. I don't know what she's going to do about that. They found the gun at the end of the movie, the detectives, so the film basically ends with her having a conversation with the detective, and he's like, yeah, if your story matches up with all the evidence that we find, then basically you're scot-free, because her story is that Trevor shot himself in the head, and they were driving and he just shot himself in the head, and then they went over a bridge. So I don't know how she's going to get away with that, but it's not explained, and I just find the idea where he wanted to fuck her over for money, and then she figures that out and just switches it up on him very cleverly. I like the idea of that. And I like the idea of the mindfuck of the whole film, although it can get confusing a lot, and it takes a lot of viewings, and it's probably convoluted as hell, because I'm sure there's a lot of things that don't add up, and I'm sure that there's plot holes galore here or there. It's still an interesting concept, and mind fucks in general when it comes to cinema. I liked. I don't like this film as much as the 5th one, to be honest, and a lot of people disagree with that. I'm a style kind of guy with my films. I've mentioned this many times on the channel, and the style of the fifth film is just so visually appealing that I just find it more of a fun film. This is a cool mindfuck, but the fifth one is just easier to swallow and digest, and just a more enjoyable, more fun film. Essentially, it's just more fun to have, kind of thing. Although the main character sucks big time, and he's really annoying to deal with throughout the film, I think the horror-esque and also like the noir-esque of it too, the shady detective story kind of thing, is just more enjoyable in my opinion. But the Hellseeker is also a fairly good movie, I would say. But if I'm going to pick one or the other, it's going to be Inferno. So, it's good seeing Kirsty back, though. She was a big plus for this film, and they gave her a good reason to be there, and I really liked that. So, that's Hellraiser Hellseeker. That's the sixth, and we have a few more to go, and it's still forward from here. So subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.